Now, this is very weird. 1 minute, TNA puts on another shitty ass pay per view of No Surrender, which I didn't see. They come back a couple days later with okay Impact. It's TNA, but when it comes to Impact, I think it's probably my favorite in a while. It was okay Impact. It was very intriguing. Heading into Bound for Glory, the build up is starting to rumble a little bit for Bound for Glory. You know, we've seen the Robert feud with Angle develop, Sting, of course, getting ready for what's happening next. We'll get to all of that in a second. But let's start from the beginning. Sting and Flair kicked off Impact, and then it Impact tonight. They kicked it off with a little discussion. Talk about the match later on tonight, which will become the main event, which I had some issues with. Good match, but I'll get to that in a moment. But when it comes to Sting and Flair, their rivalries lasted almost 23 years. Since Clash of Champions 88, their feud has been legendary. On and off screen, they respect each other, but you know what? When it comes to this, they have to do it professionally and really hate each other and really engulf each other in this situation. With both each other saying, I'm going to beat your ass, leave you lying dead and all that shit. So we got the hype surrounding Sting and Flair, hyping it all night long. Was it the hype or was it not the hype? Was it hype? Was the hype lived up to, or do we have to say public enemies don't believe the hype? We'll see what happened later on tonight. We'll get to it. First match tonight was a mixed tag as Mexican America, teamed up with Serena and Rosita in an 8 mixed tag match versus Pope, Devon, and the Knockouts Tag Champions, Miss Taskmaster and Tara. Now this match, can't say much because I kind of snoozed off a little bit during the match, but I did see the ending with Tara. Taskmaster gained the victory over Serena and Rosita, kind of getting involved with the matchup. For being an 8-person tag, from what I saw, it was slightly okay. Probably one of the only okay bad matches of the evening. There was 5 matches on the card on tonight's Impact. 2 of them really weren't the best. And 3 were like, 2 were really good, and 1 was like okay. That was a good match. So Devon and Pope and their efforts, they got the and try to get revenge on Mexican America after what happened this past Sunday. Did it very well. And then all of a sudden, Serena and Rosita started hitting on Devon's sons. That was very shocking to say the least that Devon would approve that. To have some sort of sexual teasing with 2 professional wrestlers and the son of another male wrestler. Now, they probably agreed to it storyline-wise, but we'll see if it's really true or not, if they really complied. So, there you go, the 8% with Tara, Taskmaster, and Devon and Pope got the victory. Speaking of knockouts, that was the next match. Karen Jarrett, the VP of Knockouts, declared that there will be 3 qualifying matches over the next couple weeks to qualify for a fatal 4-way against Winter for the Knockouts title at Bound for Glory. Like I said, a lot of Bound for Glory shit for starting tonight with the match with these matches for the Knockouts fatal 4-way opportunity. The Queen's qualifier, as you call them. Number 1 took place tonight. The next 3 weeks to take place. Angelina Love versus Velvet Sky. I was actually, I hate to say this, kind of impressed tonight with the Knockouts match. Went very long. Went longer than any other WWE Divas match I've ever seen in a fucking lifetime. They actually wrestled tonight. That's why the Knockouts have been saying all this time that they're better than the Divas. I wouldn't go there. But at least I have a little bit of an edge because you don't see the fucking stink face. You don't see any comedy. You don't see any silly shit with these Knockouts. They were knocking the fuck out, literally, with their action. And these 2 are very good friends. And these 2 are very good wrestlers in the Knockouts division. Angie, a former multi-time Knockouts champion. Velvet never won it. So Velvet got the victory tonight after a little miscue for winner. Went to try to have Angie in a match so Angie could be of good help. But eventually Angie dunked. Angie held Velvet. Velvet dunked. Angie got the belt. Wham! 2 instead of Velvet. And Velvet got a finisher. Got the victory over Angie. She will be in the fatal 4-way. Mickey and Miss Taskmaster will fight next week to determine who will be in that match as well. And that could be an okay, decent matchup to say the least. But these two really brought on a good match. It was actually a pretty good matchup for being a knockouts match. Good matchup, better than most of the WWE matches I've seen with the Divas recently. Then our third match of the night was Devon. It was Matt Morgan versus Samoa Joe in a rematch from the No Surrender pay-per-view, which Morgan won. Crimson talked about returning soon, so we'll see when Crimson comes back. Give revenge over Joe and everybody else, especially go with revenge over Angle as well, because Angle attacked him too. So we had Morgan and Joe. It was kind of like a submission fight, because they were both going for various submissions throughout the evening, and they won by submission. It's just me, or did the last three matches end in submission tonight? Which is very interesting to have 3 straight matches in a row and with submission. You go from 3 matches at No Surrender, ending with something being sprayed in someone's eye to make them lose, like Winter spitting blood at Mickey, and Hogan spraying Sting, and James Storm getting DQ'd after spitting beer in Gunner's eye. You know what I mean? Go from that stupid ending 3 times to using submission 3 times. At least submission 3 times in a row. Different type of submission? Yeah. At least it make it intriguing. 3 different submissions. Joe had kind of like an arm ball on Morgan in the match. Morgan had tried to make submissions. And these guys are big guys, you know. Big guys don't wrestle well. You know, especially if you're a big showball Henry, you don't put on athletic matches, you're just punching and kicking. Same thing with Sheamus. But these guys are very agile, but they didn't show it much tonight. Like I said, they're very agile, they can fly much. But this match was like okay. You know, this match was probably like one of my unfavorite matches besides the 8-man tag. And that's saying a lot for this Impact tonight. So Morgan got the loss over Joe. Joe got a missed submission. So we got 1-1. Morgan beat Joe. Joe beat Morgan. Who knows? Maybe we have one match at Impact. Or about for Glory and Crimson in it. But who knows what will happen there. Speaking about for Glory, the Battle for Glory series winner Bobby Roode was celebrated by his members of Fortune, talking about happy for him and applauding him, congratulating him. But Angle came flying down saying, hey, Immortal and I have the power. And Fortune, you're lying. I see in your teeth that you really support Robert, but you know what? Inside, you want to be him. You want the title. You want to be in a position to get the title shot. So to play a little mind game of Bobby Roode's head, mentally and physically, Angle said, thanks to my knowledge and my knowing of Hogan and Bischoff and my stroke around here, if you know what I mean, with Immortal's power, Roode, you have to wrestle a member of Immortal every week for the next 4 weeks. Tonight, you get Kaz. So Kaz and Roode was up for the 4th match, and very good matchup between these two. Now, I've said in the last 2 videos that Roode had to be built properly to be the single guy because he was a tag team guy for so long. Because that's the point. He's been a tag team guy for so long. He has been a singles competitor and forever. When he left Team Canada, when Team Canada broke up in late 2006, and he went on to be Robert Roode, the Money Man, when he teamed up with Miss Brooks as his manager, he had a big push. He had a very big push. He was getting pushed to be the next big thing, the next best thing. You know, he was being built as the next guy. You know, he was getting built properly pretty well. Having his feud with Eric Young, with owning Eric Young and all that jazz and all that. Especially with the whole Jarrett feud when Jarrett came back the first time. But then Robert Roode got into a different path. Instead of being in a singles situation, of course, he went on to for beer money with James Storm to become a big tag team. So Robert Roode starting fresh with this newly regenerated singles career, and this proved that he is. I've said he wasn't ready, and they weren't going to build him, but you know what? Roode's kind of ready. He brought it tonight against Kaz. These two put on a very athletic matchup, very grueling matchup, very back and forth. For being Immortal guys, it's just me. Oh, every time a Mortal guy faces a Fortune guy faces another Fortune guy, it brings out the best in them. AJ and Daniels, for instance. The last couple matches I thought have been very good. I didn't see the last one they did with AJ losing to Daniels in Huntsville, which Daniels bragged about. But I know they were very interesting matches. Slow, but still good. But not as good as the previous matches, but still very good. So then we got Kaz and Rude. Fortune members shook hands and after the match, before and after the match. They had awards after the match as well. Kaz admitted, I wanted to be you, Robert, but you're ready, my man. You brought it. He beat the crap out of Kaz tonight. It was move after move. It was decently probably my favorite Impact match I've seen in a while. Very grueling matchup. Very back and forth action. And Rude got the victory by his arm, by the crossface move. Got the victory by the crossface submission. By a little counter there. I like the whole counter thing with Kaz went for a punch and Rude caught him in the crossface move. Very interesting matchup. I applaud Rude, and like I said, Rude needs a little bit more building at least. If he gets wins over Daniels, and especially if he wins over AJ, he is truly ready. And maybe we can finally realize why Beer Money lost the tag titles to Mexican America. Maybe they knew who was going to win the Battle for Glory series, and maybe they had an intention of putting the title on them. So maybe that's why they made Real Money lose to Mexican America for the tag titles. Like, let's make Real Money lose the tag titles, but let's push Bobby, and try to get him a title in his possession, a world title. If he does become world champion, he kind of deserves it because he has worked his ass off, but he has to prove it every night that he deserves to be the champion. But we'll see what does happen with him and Angle at Battle for Glory, and how this rivalry heats up. And Angle was not happy that Kaz won. Kaz lost, actually. Angle said, you saw in his mouth, he said, that's what he said, son of a bitch, you can read his lips. Then the main event for the evening, Sting versus Ric Flair. Now, here's my little quips about this. Number one, this is a very hyped main event, right? This is the big main event they've been hyping for weeks. They didn't put on a pay-per-view. Now, if you put on a pay-per-view, you don't have to worry about commercials. On TV, there's commercials. So, why in God's green earth did they have to put a commercial break in the middle of it? They should have had, they've had, in the past, this match will be sponsored commercial free. If this is that big of a fucking main event, why not make it a commercial free fucking main event? Especially in a match that you hype up so much, like Sting and Flair. A match that is pay-per-view ready on Impact, you make it with commercials, not commercial free. Come on! And I'll get to the second quip later. But the match itself, for being old guys, okay matchup. They have put on better matches. Everyone can say with me that Flair and Sting have put on better matches in the past, especially in the last 15 or 20 years. This match tonight wasn't the best athletic match in the world, but it was a decent matchup for what it was. And it was kind of spoiled a bit because of motor interfered. That's my second quip. No one said anything about this being a no DQ match. Because basically, Immortal came in, did the interference, and Hogan did not disqualify anybody. Maybe just did that because of the situations of the match. Maybe they didn't want Sting to win by DQ, but no matter what, Sting would have won anyway, DQ or pin or not. But they have a Sting DQ victory to get Hogan. Kind of a cheap way to have it. So Immortal came out, attacked Sting, and then Anderson came out, and the match wasn't over yet. Then Flair was handed brass knucks by Hogan. He punched Sting, referee out of the way. It didn't matter because it was kind of a no DQ match that no one really announced. So 1, 2, Sting kicks out. Sting powers up, Sting's up. Super Sting. Gets a scorpion on Flair. He didn't even tap out. He just shook his head, yes. Kind of like what happened with Bret Hart when Bret Hart put Ric Flair in a sharpshooter back in 92. Flair didn't tap out. Flair just shook his head like, yes. He didn't do this. Flair has dignity not to tap out. He just shook his head because he didn't want me to see tap out. So Sting got the win over Flair. He gets Hogan at Bound for Glory. Now this match, I'm kind of worried about it, but at least Robert Roode's getting built up properly, so Bound for Glory could be decent, but we'll see how they build this up and see if they don't fuck it up this time. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's TNA, you know, and who knows? Like 1 week it's good, the next week it's bad. Like I said, it's TNA. All bets are off with them. 1 week they put on a copy pay-per-view, the next minute they put on an okay Impact. But we'll see how long this lasts. TNA on a good streak will probably last as long as the stock market streaks. It's like the stock market. TNA and the stock market are the same. One week you're up, the next you're down. Up and down, up and down. It's a mixed bag. That's the point. So there you go. That's my thoughts on tonight's TNA Impact Wrestling for September 15th, 2011. Okay, Impact. Built some stuff for Bound for Glory. We got some Bound for Glory matches revealed. RVD gets Jerry Lynn and Bound for Glory. We saw this coming with Jerry Lynn screwing RVD by DQ. Now we know his full motives. He's like, "Ooh, Rob, I'm going to help you." But it was, no, screwed you up, screwed you. He kind of revealed that a couple weeks ago. So it'll be him and RVD and Bound for Glory. RVD teams up with Anderson versus Billy Ray and Jerry Lynn next week. And the next Fortune member for Rude will be Daniels. With that in mind, just been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you much. Have a great night. See ya! Yeah!